Welcome back! We're about to embark on the final leg of our journey here on Riven. At last we've gotten the power we need to travel to Gehn's age, so now it's just a matter of inputting that code and we'll be on our way, hopefully. So we got 23, 17, 13, 12, and 2 as our code. And hopefully this time the book will actually work. Alright, you'll notice this time around that this pedestal here with this web thing looks a little bit more lit up than it did last time. So that's a good indication that this thing is probably in business. Oh my. Well, Gehn's age is certainly caustic, that's for sure. Definitely not like any of the ages we've seen in Myst so far. And it looks like this particular island is where he lives. Inside that big bowl. Well, no turning back now. It's time to meet Gehn once and for all. And we find ourselves behind bars again. This is like the third time we've been captured or imprisoned when we link somewhere. First when we went to Riven, then when we went to Tay, and now we're here on this age and we got trapped again. Okay, let's calm down for a minute here. At least we can move around and look around. It's a little bit better than what we had on Temple Island. And there are books here. Let's check those out. Okay, look, based on the symbol, this looks like it goes to Riven, and this seems to indicate that it goes to Jungle Island. Aw. Well, I should have expected that, because this pedestal thing isn't powered, and it's not lit up. I'm guessing that's the case for all of these, isn't it? You know, let's check out the one for the island we haven't been to yet. Of course. Okay, so what else can we do here? We can't use the books. We can see Gehn's desk area here. There appears to be some sort of oven-type machine thing here. There is a ladder that goes down into a manhole. Maybe that goes into his sewer system or something. And here's a button. Well, that lever over there is unreachable, but the button's all we got, and maybe it will call Gehn or a guard or somebody over here. It's worth a shot. Could that be Gehn? Certainly looks like it.
I apologize for the cage. I'm afraid this situation has often required of me a more primitive code of conduct than I might otherwise have chosen. I am Gehn. I assume you've heard of me. Yes. Well, I suspect you have acquired some false information of who I am now. Not that my son would have lied to you about me. No, not Atris. It's just that, well, I'm sure he believes me to still be the depraved father I once was. Yes. I even tried to kill him once. God, if I had accomplished that, who knows what I would have become. A great father indeed, who tries to murder his own son. Thankfully, he trapped me on age 5, a prison of my own creation. No books, no precious inks, no ages to link to, nothing but my own foolish ambitions. That was 30 years ago. 30 years, 30 lifetimes, what does it matter? No sentence could be too harsh for the man I was. But I have changed. To be sure, the deeds of my past can never be completely atoned for, but my mission was an honorable one. I'm sorry, this is all a bit awkward. It's been a long time since I've attempted to persuade anyone of my intentions. Most of the people here have already made their minds up about me one way or another. I myself do not trust the words of most men, so I don't expect you to believe me. In the end, though, you may discover that I do have more than mere words to offer. Atris's choice of punishment has been hard on the people of Riven, and many have suffered because of it. The island has been steadily decaying for years, but according to my most recent measurements, it appears that the Fifth Age has entered its final days. Unless the villagers can be relocated soon, the island will collapse entirely and everyone will perish. It has taken me a long time to do it, but it appears that finally I'll be able to make some substantial amends to my past transgressions, especially in... Well, I'm afraid I've had some trouble with Catherine and the moiety. In any society, there will always be a small percentage of the population with rebellious tendencies. Before Catherine appeared, the moiety, as they call themselves, had been relatively harmless. I mean, the natives here are a fairly violent people by nature, but I'd almost come to accept their presence. It seemed inevitable under the circumstances. Upon Catherine's return, however, their violence intensified considerably. It seems she's become some sort of religious savior to them. And as far as I can tell, she's come to believe this herself. So I've had no alternative. I had to separate her from her people. I must admit, though, that my concerns were not entirely for her safety alone. The actions of Catherine and the moiety have put my own life at risk on numerous occasions. Consequently, the lives of all the people here. Therefore, I must ask you to refrain from any attempt to free her. Although I'm sure Atris desires it. Indeed, he must desire it with all his heart. But he is completely unaware of her recent state. Which brings me to the point of all of this. The linking book you brought with you. You're very fortunate to have recovered it. If I may. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Touch it.
Perhaps it would be best if you went through first.
But then we would be trapped. I'm not doing that.
You may need some time to decide. That is reasonable. Until then, as a token of my good intentions, I will allow you free access to my linking books, crude though they may be, and to the rest of the Fifth Age.
Shiny.
Please understand, there is nothing I want more than a chance to resolve matters between Atris and myself, especially in light of what has become of Catherine. But unless you are willing to demonstrate to me that your intentions are honorable, I cannot risk it. The sanctuary I've been writing for the Islanders is nearly complete. After all these years, it would be a shame if I were unable to finish it. The work I am doing is quite demanding. Please don't signal me unless you've decided to use the book. The switch will reset itself once you link from here.
Well, that was certainly an enlightening conversation. Well, Gehn seems like a pretty polite gentleman. And we could almost believe his claim that he has changed, but you know what? We've seen so much evidence to the contrary on Riven. I mean, just think about it. He publicly feeds his villagers to the warks in the lake, he spies on his people with his camera, and on Catherine too, and he uses the frogs and the trees and the warks and the people of Riven as if they belong to him, with no consideration for the needs of the villagers at all, really. And he forces the villagers to treat him as a god, and apparently believes this himself, if anything we've seen is any indication. And from Catherine's journal that we just read, we know that she doesn't view herself as a savior of the moiety. So you know what? All in all, Gehn's arguments fall flat. He has not changed at all, and he does need to be stopped. But the problem, though, is that he now has our book, and that he won't use it unless we do. Well, we'll think about that here in a little bit, but now we've got more pressing concerns. He's given us power to these books. And you know what that means? We can now use the book for the mysterious Fifth Island. But you know what? We'll do that in the next video.